The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has delivered a video message for the third international conference on Crimea. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
Ukrainian President Zelensky, distinguished heads of state and government, national leader of the Crimean Tatars, Ukrainian member of parliament Kerimoglu. It is a great pleasure for me to address you at the third summit of the Crimean Platform, albeit via video message. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Ukraine on its Flag Day and Independence Day. I believe that this platform, which was established with the aim of defending the Crimean cause more effectively through peaceful means, will add strength to the messages we want to convey about Crimea. Turkey does not recognize the annexation of Crimea and has been steadfastly expressing the illegality of the step since day one. We remain in favor of Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. We believe Crimea is a part of Ukraine and have expressed this on every stage, including at the United Nations. Ensuring the safety and well-being of our Crimean Tatar Turk compatriots, one of the indigenous peoples of Crimea, is among our priorities. I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate our hope for the release of the deputy chairperson of the Mejlis of the Crimean Tatar people, Nariman Jalal, and his colleagues who are in custody. As I always say, war has no winners, and peace has no losers. With this understanding, we maintain our conviction that the war that has been going on for nearly 2 years must end with a just and lasting peace. We are working hard to keep the channels of communication open in order to stop the bloodshed and bring the parties to the negotiating table. We are working to revitalize the Black Sea Initiative. To achieve this, we believe that any steps that will further increase tensions and harm tranquility in the Black Sea region should be avoided. We are determined to continue our efforts to facilitate and mediate in the direction of establishing peace. The end of the war and the restoration of peace and stability in the Black Sea Basin will be a breath of fresh air not only for the region, but for the whole world. I reiterate our support for the territorial integrity of Ukraine, including Crimea, and I hope that our region will regain a climate of peace as soon as possible. I extend my respect and greetings to all of you, and thank you.
Let's get more on this now with TRT World's editor-at-large Yusuf Erim, who joins us here in the studio. Hi, Yusuf. The President's remarks were made to the Crimea Platform, which is an international coordination mechanism that draws global attention to Russia's annexation of Crimea back in 2014. President Erdogan explicitly said that Türkiye does not recognize Russia's annexation of the Crimean Peninsula. Quite a significant statement to make, isn't it, in the light of the ongoing war in Ukraine?
Well, Crimea has always been a red line for Turkey, and it's got historical ties with the Crimean people, as the Turkish president called them, Crimean Tatar Turk compatriots. So there is a view of Crimean Tatars as part of the extended Turkic family. So very close bonds. So it was an issue back in 2014 where much of the world was silent, but the Turkish president was tremendously vocal about the annexation of Crimea. And at many times he blamed Western leaders for the 2022 invasion on their silence back in 2014. He always said that if you had showed more of a reaction to the annexation of Crimea, we wouldn't be experiencing what we're experiencing in February 2022. That being said, again, Turkey has always respected the territorial integrity of Ukraine and wants the territorial integrity intact at the end of this war, whether it's a military or diplomatic solution. That's one of the things that the Turkish president has always stressed and will continue to stress. But again, Crimea specifically has always been a high priority issue for Turkey inside of the war in Ukraine, or inside of the problems experienced between the Russians and the Ukrainians, just because of that hereditary, historical, and fraternal link that Turks have with the Crimean Tatar people.
In the President's remarks, he also said that Turkey maintains its belief that the war in Ukraine, which started about 18 months ago, needs to end with a fair and lasting peace. And we know President Erdogan is perhaps one of the few world leaders, if not the only world leader, that's been able to maintain a dialogue with all sides of this conflict. Just bring us up to speed on what Ankara is doing right now in order to maintain that dialogue and perhaps achieve that lasting peace.
Well, right now, Ankara is mainly concerned on trying to get the grain deal back on track. The majority of its diplomatic efforts have been to salvage the grain deal. Now, while many people look at the grain deal as an agricultural achievement, a diplomatic breakthrough that was an agricultural achievement to alleviate a global food crisis, many people overlook the security dimension of the Black Sea grain deal, having that humanitarian corridor, keeping the Russian and Ukrainian navies away from each other, having a de-escalation in the Black Sea. That was very important. If we look right now at the amount of skirmishes taking place in the Black Sea since the grain deal has expired, we can appreciate the security dimension of the Black Sea grain deal. So while much of Europe has alternative routes through land, whether it's via Romania or other routes to be able to ship Ukrainian grain, the Black Sea grain deal is still a very important security deal as well, and still nothing takes the place of being able to ship grain via sea as well, because it's cheaper, very quick, reaches African and Middle Eastern markets that are tremendously in need of that grain. And much of its diplomacy is geared towards getting Russia back on board. Now, Russia has had a lot of objections to the grain deal, saying, hey, we're not getting the benefits. Okay, Ukraine has been able to export about 30 million tons of its grain, but we haven't exported any. We're still under sanctions. We can't get insurance. And the Turkish president has been vocal, telling the UN and Western leaders that, listen, Russia has these grievances. We need to get them back on board. We need to find a solution to this. So this diplomacy right now, I believe the Turkish foreign minister is going to be not only in Ukraine this week, but also in Russia this week. There's also talk of a possible Erdogan-Putin face-to-face meeting, whether it's going to be in Turkey or Russia, that remains to be seen. But that's probably in the near agenda as well. So it looks like Turkey trying to take very concrete steps to get the Russians back on board.
Okay, Yusuf Erim, we'll have to leave it there. But thank you, as always, for sharing your thoughts with us.